Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining us for this exciting webinar on workplace bike share benefits for your employees. I would first like to recognize that we, the City of Vancouver, are situated on the unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations, where we are fortunate to operate business on these sacred lands and strive to make our practices sustainable, safe, and healthy. It's just a reminder to keep your mics muted during the presentation and keep the chat respectful. My name is Simon, representing the City of Vancouver's Sustainable Commute Program for employers called VanGO, presenting today on how your workplace can use bike share as a clean and affordable method of commuting. I'm joined by Taylor McVitie from Mobi by VanGO, Vancouver's bike share system, and I'm also being supported by my colleague Chloe. Shout out to those of you watching. We have a good variety of organizations here today, small and large. So the agenda for today includes an overview of VanGO, cycling and workplace commuting benefits, an introduction to Mobi by VanGO, Vancouver's bike share system, and their corporate pass program for employers. We have 2 corporate pass testimonials from UBC and the City of Vancouver. And finally, there will be a chance to win an annual Mobi Corporate Pass valued at approximately $100. Make sure to stick around until the end to win. So what do we do? VanGO offers a variety of services, programs, and information for employers. In short, we hold webinars on how to make your commute more healthy and sustainable like this one. We're experts in all things mobility, including walking, biking, transit, electric mobility, and much more. We work closely with TravelSmart at TransLink, the region's sustainable commuting program. We connect you to certifications that recognize organizations offering significant benefits to employees and customers. We also connect organizations to information toolkits, travel planning, and education. We have recently developed a toolkit or self-help guide called the Sustainable Mobility Toolkit for Employers. We run and promote cycling and walking campaigns to encourage healthy commuting, like Go by Bike Week and Walk 30. We develop and promote pilot programs that incentivize healthy and sustainable travel, and we work really closely with NPOs, businesses, and other stakeholders like Hub Cycling and BIAs. So there are many transportation options available to your organization, and the suitability of them depends on a number of factors, including the location of employees, their distance from work, and the time it takes by a mode of transportation, the quality of services such as the frequency of buses, the availability of these services like the proximity to bike share stations or presence of secure bicycle parking, infrastructure quality like whether there are separated bike lanes along your route to work. Cost is obviously a top factor. We know car ownership is really expensive. The cost of gas, parking, insurance, and maintenance is really adding up these days. Employees' personal preferences and comfort is also important. Not everyone is going to be an avid transit or bike rider. And your ability to use these options is also important. But before proposing any solutions for your organization, you should better understand the unique travel context through a workplace survey. You should pinpoint barriers to your workplace, such as cost, infrastructure quality, and presence of bicycle parking, and recommend tangible solutions which reward employees for positive behaviors. Studies have shown that these actions, particularly those that incorporate financial incentives or disincentives, are the most cost-effective at encouraging the switch to clean modes of transportation. This could include offering commuter benefits and charging daily rates for car parking. Shifting focus to biking and bike share, today's topic of discussion. Bike trips are perfect for distances under 5 kilometers. And did you know approximately a third of these trips to work are under 5 kilometers from home in Vancouver? Half of all trips are 5 kilometers or less across Metro Vancouver. Biking, as you know, has several benefits, which will be discussed further by Taylor in the next section. But we know biking has many benefits to employee health in your organization. Here are just a few listed on this slide. Biking also pairs seamlessly with other modes like transit and car share. And the City of Vancouver has an extensive network of comfortable and safe bikeways, plus an expanding bike share network, including electric bikes. Our new bike map can also be a great addition to your workplace or bike room as it details all the safest and protected routes around the city. You can reach out to us to get some for your workplace. And if bike maps aren't for you, you can download an app on your phone called City Mapper, which is recommended for most cyclists. The platform offers navigation and routing for different comfort levels and also integrates with Mobi, showing navigation to the nearest Mobi stations with available bikes. There are many ways you can make your workplace bike friendly and take advantage of the city's extensive bike friendly network. The first thing you can do, which will be introduced further by Taylor, is to provide the Mobi Corporate Pass Program to employees and even further subsidize it like my employer does. You can provide secure and convenient bicycle parking for personal bikes. And if secure bicycle parking isn't an option for your workplace, you can adopt a bikes allowed in workplace policy by working with your building manager or owner. You can also get your workplace assessed by Hub Cycling and recognized for your efforts to improve commuting and sustainability. More information on their website. You can designate a workplace champion that will coordinate campaigns and commute planning. Campaigns like Go by Bike Week are really popular here in Vancouver. Lastly, you can survey your staff to understand which mobility options make sense. You can connect with me for advice. I will now pass it on to Taylor from Mobi by VanGO to talk about Vancouver's bike share system.
Thanks, Simon. I'm Taylor. I'm a program coordinator for Mobi by VanGO, and I run our corporate program as well as our equity program, but we're going to be diving into the corporate program a little bit now. So just to provide you with a little bit of history about bike share within Vancouver, Mobi by VanGO has existed for around 7 years, and in that time, we have become an essential part of transit within Vancouver, with many of our members using bike share in conjunction with other transit methods like bike, C-Bus, or SkyTrain. As you can see here, we have our current service area in the dark blue, and we're actually expanding to UBC right now, which is very exciting. So you will see some additional stations go out to UBC, and folks will be able to bike from the dark blue service area all the way out to UBC and end their trips there. We currently have about 2,000 classic bikes, 600 e-bikes, and just over 250 stations. Next. So what is bike share? Bike share is essentially a way to share public bicycles. It allows folks to take short trips on a bike and to take one-way trips because you can start your trip at any station in our system and you can end it at any other station in the system. It's a really great way to not worry about bike theft. So if you have a very nice bike, which I know a lot of Vancouverites do, you don't have to lock it outside anywhere. You can actually just take bike share. You don't even need to own a bike, so it's great if you can't have storage space for a personal bike. And you actually don't even need to worry about bike maintenance because we have wonderful bike mechanics that very regularly tune up our bikes. So in addition to you having to potentially purchase your own personal bike and then pay for tune-ups every year or new equipment, you actually don't have to do that with bike share. Additionally, it's just great for the environment and for your health as well, which we'll dive into in a little bit. So with the introduction of e-bikes, we've seen some really cool things. So in 2022, we introduced about 500 e-bikes to our fleet, and you'll actually see that we have charging stations around the city as well. We have added an additional 100 e-bikes as of 2023, which brings us up to about 600. So surveying our members in this past year, we found out that 42% of our annual pass holders now cycle more often because of the addition of e-bikes. And something that they noted specifically was that it makes their trips faster, they can travel longer distances with less effort, and they don't get sweaty while going up hills, which is especially great for employees because they can actually just wear their regular workwear on an e-bike going to work and you'll barely even sweat. The average ride time for e-bikes is about 12 minutes, and folks usually go around 2.5 kilometers. And in this time, it ends up equating to about $1.80 for using the e-bike, as the e-bike does have a permanent rate on the annual pass, but it's only 15 cents per minute as you use it. So, some really fun facts that we've seen are annual trips have grown significantly since launching public bike share in 2016. As you can see here, it's been almost constant growth other than the pandemic, which I think was a similar impact for a lot of organizations. But you can especially see that in 2022, when we introduced e-bikes, in that year alone, we've had a 28% growth in ridership. And at the end of this year, we will likely exceed 1.2 million trips from our riders, which is amazing. Next. Sorry. So some of the benefits, which you saw briefly in Simon's slides, are that employees who cycle to work, whether it's their own personal bike or with bike share, are more likely to be on time, to perform better in their roles, and generally to save employers money. They're also less likely to call in sick because it improves their overall health. I will also be sharing a report with Simon, and you can ask for that after the webinar. We'll have some links to some research papers that you can read if you're interested in the research that has been done around the health benefits and especially employer benefits for cycling and bike share. So something that is specifically interesting with bike share is that bike share in a region, the more that folks use it, it actually improves health and the use of active transportation in that region as a whole. So the more folks use bike share, the more people use their personal bikes and the more that they walk in that region. So it generally just increases overall health for that region, which is fantastic. And some of those benefits that you can see listed here are it helps reduce the risk of heart attack, stroke, high blood pressure. It's a very low impact form of cardio, so there's less stress on folks' joints, and it can actually boost folks' immune system and improve their mental health, all of which obviously affect not only people's personal lives, but their work life as well. Next. So that brings us to our corporate program offering. So our corporate program is essentially a way for organizations or employers to get a discount off of our annual passes and then provide that discount to their employees. So there is a one-time setup fee of $150, and in that setup fee, you actually receive 2 of our Corporate Plus passes, and you can raffle those off, give them away to employees. It's a great way to just jazz up some buzz around your new benefit for employees. You'll receive 2 discount codes that all employees are able to use. As you can see here, we have 2 pass options, one of which will be $99 for employees purchasing with that discount code, and the other one being $119 for employees purchasing with the discount code. You'll also receive some marketing materials that you can share out on your intranet, in a newsletter to employees, or even on screens that you may have around a physical office. Perfect. And then something new that we've recently added for employers or organizations is our bulk pass purchasing. So this would be where an organization or an employer purchases a large number of passes initially. So you would put the upfront cost. So it can be anything over 25 passes, as you can see in the image here. And then you can decide whether you want to provide employees with those passes for free, so you absorb the cost and provide it as a benefit to them. Or the other potential option that we've seen is you purchase the passes up front, you have employees decide whether or not they want to sign up for one, and then you just reduce the cost of how much you want to subsidize the pass from their next paycheck. So let's say you purchase the passes at $85 per pass. If you want to cover 50% of that, then what you do is an employee who signs up, you'd maybe take out $42.50 from their following paycheck, and then you'd be subsidizing about half of the additionally reduced cost of the pass. So This allows you to get further discounts on the already discounted corporate program that we offer, but it's also a really great way to get more employees actively using bike share. We have seen that having the cost of bike share covered initially, whether that's 50%, 75%, but especially if it's entirely covered, will mean that more of your employees are signing up for bike share and are actively using it. So you will see some of those health benefits that I mentioned a lot more if you cover the entire cost of the pass for your employees. Perfect. I will pass it back to Simon, but I did just want to briefly mention that at the end of the presentation, you'll see an email, which is grouprates@mobibikes.ca. That's the best way to reach out about any of the corporate program offerings, and I will be the one that you'll be communicating with.
Great, thanks, Taylor. Greatly appreciated. So now onto our testimonial segment for today's webinar. We have two special guests talking about Mobi's Corporate Pass Program. I would like to introduce Melissa Tang from the University of British Columbia and our own Jay Buchanan from our public bike share group here at the City of Vancouver. Thank you both for joining us. I will start off the testimonial with Melissa. Can you tell me a little bit about you and your organization?
For sure. Thanks, Simon. And hi, everyone. My name is Melissa Tang, and I am UBC Sustainable Transportation Program Lead. And within my work, I lead UBC's travel demand management portfolio, ranging from infrastructure upgrades, incentive programs, and outreach and engagement events to support active and sustainable transportation. And a little bit about UBC. UBC is a regional destination, and believe it or not, we see about 150,000 trips to and from UBC daily, and we're striving to make as many of those trips as possible be made by active and sustainable modes of travel, such as transit, walking, and cycling. We're also supporting Mobi's expansion to our Vancouver campus this year by installing 10 electrified stations by next summer. We've also partnered with Mobi through their Corporate Pass Program to offer discounted membership to UBC students, staff, and faculty, including a new e-bike inclusive membership.
Great, thanks, Melissa. And I'll ask the same question to Jay. Tell me a little bit about you and your organization.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you, Simon, for the introduction. Hello, everyone. My name is Jay Buchanan. I've been with the city's public bike share / micromobility team for the last 5.5 years. We operate within the city's engineering services department, which is a very large department within the city. One of my routine responsibilities is to coordinate with the city's HR department, which manages our sustainable commuting program, where they offer a range of benefits for staff that choose to bike and take transit to any of our City of Vancouver job sites. More specifically, my work entails ensuring that city staff have all the correct information and marketing materials to obtain the previously discussed Mobi Corporate Pass discount, as well as how to apply for an additional 50% rebate on their discounted plus 60-minute pass, which the city also subsidizes. This creates an incredibly enticing offer for our staff, as it brings an annual 60-minute ride membership to approximately $60 post rebate. I'm also involved in making sure that all the applications for the 50% rebate are accurate, as we only provide this benefit for the Corporate Plus Pass and eligible staff under the umbrella of regular full-time, temporary full-time, or regular part-time employment.
Great, thanks, Jay. And maybe this a different question for you, Jay. Why did your organization choose to offer the Mobi Corporate Pass program to employees?
Well, for starters, it was just a natural fit. With our team being, having 7 years experience as the planning authority for Vancouver's bike share system, we understand the many benefits biking has on health and sustainability. I think Taylor did a very good job of outlining all the benefits already, but Having a subsidized bike share pass for employees provides an extremely useful and convenient benefit to existing and prospective talent. Furthermore, it aligns with our organization's climate emergency action plan goals of eventually having 2/3 of all trips taken within Vancouver by active transportation and transit in 2030. So yeah, a natural fit in that regard. And our team implemented the corporate pass and rebate back in 2017, shortly after the system launched in 2016. Since that time, we've seen a healthy amount of uptake from our staff. And after we saw a bit of a dip in applications during the first 2 years of the COVID pandemic, largely due to a general shift to remote working and social distancing practices, we are now seeing a fantastic rebound as employees make their way back to the office. And more importantly, since e-bikes have been implemented as of August 2022, we're seeing even more new staff uptake the corporate pass and the rebates offered by our program.
Thanks, Jay. Great response. I'm going to ask the same question to Melissa now. Why did your organization choose to offer the Mobi Corporate Pass Program to employees?
Well, this was part of our suite of programs and initiative aimed at encouraging more active and sustainable modes of commuting to and from campus. And it's consistent with our actions identified in UBC's Transportation Plan, Climate Action Plan 2030, and also aligns with our UBC Wellbeing Strategic Framework. Our hope is that the discounted membership and particularly the inclusion of e-bikes will make it much easier for our UBC community to choose cycling as their mode of choice for travel to and from campus more often. And UBC is also making infrastructure investments into this program itself, leveraging senior government funding to enable the expansion of the Mobi service area to our Vancouver campus. So by participating in the Corporate Pass program, we're hoping to maximize on the return of infrastructure investment in terms of the usage of bikes themselves.
Great, thanks, Melissa. And a different question for you, actually. Have you noticed any positive impacts on employees as a result of this program? And if so, could you describe the ways in which they have benefited?
For sure. It's a little too early for us to tell and be sure for right now. We're currently planning the launch of our first couple of stations by the end of this month on campus. But with that said, there is a lot of interest and excitement on campus about the program. Expanding the Mobi system to campus has been something we've heard a lot of desire for in our engagement work and also surveys. So we're very excited to finally get that opportunity to bring Mobi to UBC Vancouver.
Great, thanks, Melissa. And the same question for you, Jay. Have you noticed any positive impacts on employees as a result of this program? And if so, could you describe the ways in which they've benefited?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I could go on for a long time about all the positive impacts and testimonials I've heard from employees, but most importantly, just the fact that they can get around the city so much easier and more effectively via the Mobi system. It's conveniently sited and located. A lot of the stations are close to things like, popular amenities like parks and community centers and business districts, so on and so forth. I mean, that alone is such a boon for them to adopt the program and the pass, not to mention the health benefits, which have already been discussed. And more importantly, we've really incorporated the use of Mobis into our work as well. So I hear a lot of feedback from city staff that, they're using Mobi bikes as an alternative to city vehicles or just transit or whatever to go out to work sites for survey work or, anything like outreach work, anything in that vein. And yeah, it's just been so positively received. And as I said before, the uptake has been so encouraging. So between that and the positive feedback we've received, it's just been really, really, really good.
Great, thanks, Jay and Melissa. Just last question for either of you. Any final thoughts about the program before we move on to the prize draw?
Maybe I'll keep it short and sweet. I will encourage companies to participate in the program. I think it's not only a great employee benefit, but also it's a relatively easy and affordable way to enable and encourage healthy and sustainable travel choices.
Great. Thanks, Melissa.
Yeah, I'll just add quickly, encourage your employees to, or your organization to adopt the program and get them on those e-bikes out there in the system currently. I think the e-bikes are such a game changer, and as soon as your employees see the benefits of electric assisted bikes, where they don't have to get sweaty and they can get to their destination a lot easier and more effectively, that'll have a positive impact on how they use the system, and then their word of mouth for other employees within your organization will have a ripple effect. And I really see, like this, the adoption will just grow and grow as time goes on.
Great. Thanks for your very inspirational feedback on the program. Greatly appreciated. I'd like to remind you that we're holding a webinar in the winter, and please don't forget to sign up for VanGO to learn more about how your organization can be part of a sustainable commuting program. Also, feel free to reach out directly if you have any questions at employertdm@vancouver.ca. And if your organization would like to sign up for the corporate Mobi Pass program, you can email grouprates@mobibikes.ca.